Hi, despite appearances, I'm not Supersaf from Supersaf TV. I'm Matteo from Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks long-term review of the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G, a slightly more affordable smartphone from Samsung, which has been a great seller over the last 6 months. And this is our review after having used the device for 6 months as a primary device. The Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, and here FE stands for Fan Edition, is not quite flagship device that offers consumers the majority of flagship features at a slightly affordable price and goes toe-to-toe with some direct competition in the form of the iPhone 12. So, what is the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE powered by? Well, it's 2020's flagship chipset, Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset, which is, for all intents and purposes, the best you could get in 2020. That is, in the case of the UK stock keeping unit, paired with 6GB of RAM and internal storage that is expandable with microSD. So you get the best of smartphone features in terms of the chipset, the memory, and its overall capabilities. There have been a few things where they had to step down from a flagship device. It has a flat screen, not a curved screen. It has a plastic bag. But pretty much things stop there. You still get waterproofing to a certain level. You still get some great features such as wireless charging. And in the case of the 5G model, you get a slightly faster refresh rate at Super AMOLED screen, which is gorgeous. That Super AMOLED screen is really good in its full HD plus resolution, and I had no problems using it in direct sunlight. In terms of overall battery performance, the Samsung S20 FE is very, very good. That 4500 mAh battery really gets you through a day, but this is thanks to not only the battery capacity itself, but some really strong software implementations, which sometimes aggressively close apps you have open. I sometimes had issues using my podcast player, Pocket Casts, which would be closed, force closed by the operating system and not be available to me when I press play again on my wireless earbuds. The Samsung S20 FE is overall a really, really good smartphone. I like the fact that you get a full-size smartphone screen and the fact that it is really a pleasure to use and hold in the hand. Ergonomically, despite not having a curved screen, it really, really handles well. One of the only things that I was missing on the S20 FE 5G was a Courage port, but this is something we've been quite used to recently, is the omission of that feature. In terms of software, the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G is running One UI, which I call TouchWiz, in the sense that it is the Samsung experience built on top of Android 11 in this case. And the great thing is that Samsung have been consistently giving good software updates, as well as updating it to the latest version of Android, which is currently Android 11, and that was updated before the end of 2020. Bearing in mind this device was announced in September and released in October, and that we've been using it since October, I'm very happy with how Samsung have turned out to be supporting software on the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G. And if you read the most recent press releases from Samsung, you'll find out that you'll be supported for 3 years from the date of the release of the device. The Samsung S20 FE will get love from Samsung in the long term, which is great to hear. OneWiz gives you a set of apps that often duplicate Google apps and services. You don't have to use the Samsung apps, but there is a bit of configuration whilst you're setting the device up. Another area where Samsung have some pretty strong software chops is in the space of the camera. The Samsung S20 FE 5G has a 12 megapixel f/1.8 camera. This is a really good quality camera. I would say on a par, if not slightly better than the one on the Google Pixel 5. And it's not on its own, it's paired with two quite useful cameras, an 8 megapixel telephoto camera and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera. So it only has 3 lenses, but they're all very useful, unlike other sticker cameras we've seen on recent devices here at Tech Travel Geeks. Overall, performance of the camera and the software is very good. in typical Samsung's fashion, there can be some slight oversaturation in default modes, and it is quite aggressive in HDR modes. Night mode on the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE is leaps and bounds from what it used to be a few years ago. And on the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G, it is impressive. I did have fun this winter, especially on snowy nights, using that night mode for some astrophotography, and was pleasantly impressed with how it performed. Bear in mind, the colour science that Samsung uses is significantly different from what you may have come to expect from companies like Huawei, LG, and others. So it will be slightly different, but in most cases, for most people, especially when sharing content on social media, it is very pleasant. The front-facing camera is a 32 megapixel sensor. It takes some clear video and pictures and performs great if you're using it for social media. Sadly, the default setting on the selfie camera is for 1080p video, and I forgot to check settings before recording a recent vlog about our trip around the reservoirs at Harlaw. But overall, the selfie camera performs really well, and if you're a vlogger, this might be the actual smartphone for you. The rear cameras take really good video too. The image stabilization is both optical and electronic, and you can take up to 4K video at 60 frames per second. Just remember that if you're recording to a microSD card, you really need to have a high quality one, such as a SanDisk Extreme Pro card, such as the one I'm using in my device. There are a few oddities on the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, and that's probably because it tries to compete directly with devices like the iPhone 12. We have done some videos on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel on how to take screenshots, for example, and how to turn the device off. It apes iOS, and for users not coming from an iPhone, this may be confusing. But thankfully, the Tech Travel Geeks are here to cover you with some useful how-to videos. Check those out if you haven't already. The Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G has that lovely AMOLED screen that we really like. And underneath that Samsung screen, there is an optical image fingerprint reader. This allows you to unlock your smartphone with your fingerprint. The only issue is that compared to its competition, that fingerprint reader is relatively slow. If you compare it to the latest Oppo, Huawei, or other smartphones, that fingerprint reader is a bit sluggish. But for most people, that won't be much of an issue if they don't have devices side by side. Face Unlock is available, but as always, it's less secure than a fingerprint or a passcode. Just bear that in mind. The Samsung Galaxy S20 FE is a great example of why you shouldn't need to spend over £1,000 or $1,000 on a smartphone. You get all the basic features of a flagship device without maybe some of the aesthetic amazingness. And overall, as a package, it is a great smartphone. Even 6 months in, I would still recommend this over the newer Samsung Galaxy S21, which in its spec sheet omits certain features such as expandable storage. So really, thumbs up from the Tech Travel Geeks to the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. And if you'd like to see more videos filmed here in front of castles in Scotland, or in some really cool settings, subscribe to us. If you like this video, drop us a like, and if you have any further questions, feel free to put them in the comments section below. But for now, from the Tech Travel Geeks, thanks for watching and goodbye.